If sleeping with the enemy was a Netflix blockbuster, Samson and Delilah would have been the star of the show, because what? When you start reading the book of Judges chapter 16, you realize that one key thing sticks out to me. It said, and Samson loved a woman in the valley of Sorek. So Samson was in love. And I believe that that was his first mistake, to love the wrong person. And so when we say that it is very important not to be yoked with the wrong person as a Christian, or as a Christian, you cannot date somebody who is an unbeliever, you have to hear it, because the story of Samson is a clear example of what can happen to you. Because as soon as the Philistines heard that Samson had fallen in love with Delilah, and of course he was sleeping with Delilah, as soon as they realized that that was the situation, they approached Delilah and said, well, can you find out what the source of his strength is, and we're gonna give you money. And guess what? Miss Delilah was like, bet. And the sad thing is, from that day, she consistently tried to get the strength of Samson. So he kept asking Samson, tell me where your strength is. And then the first time Samson lied, and then she comes, it's like, oh, you've lied to me. Why did you not tell me? She did it the second time, the third time, the fourth time. So you cannot tell me that Samson was not aware that Delilah was out to destroy him. So why did he not run away? Why did he still stay with Delilah? He knew clearly, because every time he told Delilah what the source of his strength was, which was he was lying about in the future, Delilah tried the exact same trick and then would shout and say, the Philistines are coming. And then he would rise up, and then they would like, oh, you lied. Hold up, I'm so excited. I'm jittery about this, because I kind of feel like we don't talk about this enough. But I've read Judges 16 so many times, but I'm just reading it today and I'm like, what? So he knew that Delilah was up to no good, and that Delilah was out to just destroy his life and his destiny. But because he was in love, he still stayed with the enemy. He was still laying with the enemy until finally Delilah came with the, emotional blackmail. How can you tell me you love me if you cannot tell me your heart? What? Delilah was like, how can you tell me you love me when you've lied to me 3 times? Girl, why do you want to know his strength? So Samson should have known better, right? But the sad part is, Bible says that Delilah pressed Samson. So that means he made Samson so miserable that Samson eventually gave in instead of running away. You cannot play with fire. As a person that is called and anointed by God, you cannot think that you are too strong for whoever it is that you're with, because even if they themselves are not corrupt, or they're not saved, he's Muslim, he's Buddhist, whatever, he's not a bad person. The point is not that the person is a bad person or not. The catch-22 is that person becomes an easy target for the devil to use to destroy your life, just like Delilah did to Samson. I know this is long, but bear with me. So Bible says that Delilah continued to press Samson until his soul was vexed. That means the man became tired, and finally told Delilah what the source of his strength is. And when you go back and read Judges 16, it says explicitly that Delilah knew that eventually Samson had told her the exact truth of how he would lose his strength. So he called the Philistines and said, oh yeah, come. He has finally told me what the source of his strength is. If you cut off his hair, that's it for him. And do you know what finally actually broke my heart? Bible said that night, Delilah had Samson lay on her laps. Hey! Samson was playing with fire and he had no idea. He was laying in the laps of his enemy. In fact, he was laying in the laps of the woman who was ready to take him out completely. And bro was sleeping because of love. And another sad thing that I read that is really breaking my heart for Samson? He said that after Delilah had called the man to come and cut off the locks of Samson, Delilah began to torment Samson. So even before the Philistines came to catch Samson and gouge out his eyes, it was Delilah, the woman he loved, who started tormenting him. When we say you cannot sleep with the enemy, listen, because the right person, the person you think you love, will end up being the person who will torment your life and destiny if you are not careful. So Delilah tormented Samson way before even the Philistines came and took him out. Let's be guided though. You are too anointed. And when you read down, the whole story is just sad. They cut off Samson's hair, took out his eyes, and then sent him to prison. And the sad part is now the one who was anointed to deliver the people of Israel, the one who was sent to destroy the Philistines, now became the person that they were laughing at. Samson literally lost his oil, his power, his anointing, and became a laughing stock in the land of the Philistines. The same people God had called him to go and deliver, he became a laughing stock. And that is what happens when you succumb and compromise your light, your destiny, your purpose to the wrong hands. You end up becoming a laughing stock. And when you read back to the very end of Judges, even on the day that God had mercy on Samson and vindicated Samson, you realize that even on that day, they called him when all the leaders of the Philistines had gathered and said, Samson, come and entertain us. A judge, a prophet, a man anointed, a Nazarite, anointed with power and vigor to save people, now became an entertainer. Don't trade your oil. Don't trade your oil for laugh. Don't trade your oil for just because you want to touch somebody. Just because you want to feel comfort in your body, you are going to lose your fire. Let the story of Samson teach all of us a lesson. Don't sleep with the enemy. It's dangerous. Bye.